to this India Today special where we are with someone who could well be described at the moment as India's most wanted. That's right, we are with Lalit Modi, former IPL commissioner. And look at where we are amidst all the noise and controversy over Mr. Modi. He is here by the Adriatic in Montenegro, relaxing and luxuriating by the sea. Mr. Modi, this is typical Lalit Modi. All the noise, all the controversy back home, and it's almost as if you are telling the authorities and telling all of us, do what you can, I'm going to live my life king size. This is brazen Lalit Modi.
Well, you know, the slogan, live life king size, was coined by Foursquare, which is one of my brands. So, well, I'm living life king size, and why not? At the end, I have done nothing wrong. At the end, I have gone by the book. I have paid my dues. I have paid more my time. In fact, I have been over-criticized. I have been taken to task by government in the past and have made my life miserable for no reason at all.
I'm going to come to those specifics in a moment. But I just want to know, here you are luxuriating by the Adriatic in Montenegro, having a holiday. The fact is, one minister lost his job because of a tweet of yours.
Yes.
Now another minister is in danger of losing her job because of a mail of yours. And now possibly a chief minister could also be under scrutiny because she appeared as a witness in one of your British residency claims. But first, let's come to that. A minister loses job for a tweet. Sushma Swaraj could lose her job for a mail of yours, and you seem to be saying there is, that you seem perfectly cool and calm about it all.
I'm not perfectly cool and calm of somebody who doing an honest day's job losing the job. Mr. Shashi Tharoor, who lost his job because he lied. He lied to the parliament. He lied to everybody that he had nothing to do with the Kochi team. And then what happened? Shashi Tharoor was proven to be guilty. He admitted in parliament. That's why he lost his job. And then ultimately what happened? His wife died, unfortunately. And that's a big problem. And nobody wants to talk about that. But yes, when Sushma Swaraj and Vasundhara Raje have names are coming out, they're coming out not for any other reason, because for the reason that if they have supported me, they have supported me as somebody who has gone through tremendous wrong by different people. And all I did, my wife was very sick, and I appealed to them and for their help to ensure that I was able to go and be with her.
So you are accepting that Vasundhara and Sushma at various stages have helped you out? You are admitting that?
I'm admitting to the fact, yes, I made the phone call to Sushma ji at the point in time, which is very clear, that at a point in time where I have been proven by the UK courts that everything done against me was politically motivated by the last government, and that the right for me to remain in the UK was already granted by the UK courts. It was delayed on account of the Congress government. How do I know that? Because under the Right to Information Act, which entire documentation is available with you, which I have passed on to you, which clearly shows I would have got my residency way back in May 2012, but only because of the interference of the private office of the government of India in collusion with the UK government made sure that I did not get it and was delayed.
From 2011, when your passport was impounded in March 2011, you kept applying for your passport to be given back to get residency. The Congress kept opposing it. The UPA government kept opposing it. Sushma Swaraj comes, and lo and behold, in 2 months, you get your travel documents. You suddenly, in 2 months, seem to discover that Sushma Swaraj is the person who on humanitarian grounds writes and speaks to Keith Vaz, speaks to the British High Commissioner in India, James Bevan. You ring her up. So obviously you use your proximity to Sushma Swaraj to get a benefit which you were not getting for 3 years, because the UPA believed you were a fugitive. The UPA saw you as an absconder.
No, they didn't. The UK didn't believe I was a fugitive, number one. If anybody says that, I will very clearly go after them to say that nobody has ever said that except for the Indian media. And wait, and I will get to that in a minute. Let's go through the sequence of events. No point saying something without going through the sequence of events. I left India on May 12th, 2010. I know the case inside out. Yes, my passport was revoked in March 3rd, 2011. I applied to the UK government, and rightly so, for residency. my residency was being considered and was going to be granted in 2012 early. And I think it was May 2012. It was in the interference which we came to know later on in 2013 and 2014 when we went to the Right to Information Act, that it was the interference of the UPA government in collusion with the UK government, which delayed the process of me getting the residency in the UK. Let's fast forward.
I'll come back to the past. Can I come to the present first controversy? Then we'll go back to the past.
You can't come to the present controversy without looking at the past. I went through the court systems in India. I could have got any passport from anywhere in the world. There are enough jurisdictions in the world available to me today and were available to me then to get a passport. If I was so desperate to travel, I could have easily given up my right as an Indian citizen and taken another passport. I did not do that only for one reason, and one reason alone, because I wanted to prove to everybody that I'm going to fight this because my passport has been wrongly taken. And by the way, when the time my UK passport was given, my Indian passport judgment was reserved. And the Indian passport judgment came out a few weeks later after my UK judgment also. So,
can I just come to the hard facts? On 31st of July, which is a critical date, Keith Vaz, senior British lawmaker, sends an email to Sarah Rapson in the UK Home Office. Foreign Minister of India, i.e. Sushma Swaraj, has spoken to me and says she has no objections to the travel documents being granted.
Yeah.
She has also spoken to James Bevan. In fact, everyone but Ban Ki-moon has been spoken, is what Mr. Keith Vaz says in the mail. Within a day of that, within 24 hours, you get the travel documents that you were denied for 4 years.
Why?
Am I to understand? Is it not Sushma Swaraj's out-of-turn intervention for Mr. Lalit Modi?
I don't think you understand.
Who is not appearing before the courts of India in several cases.
I have appeared in every case.
You have had 8 show cause notices given to you. You have not appeared in those.
Says one. Give me one second.
August 2010.
I think you're again mistaken when you say I have not appeared. I may not have appeared physically. I have appeared through my lawyers and by written affidavits which have been used by the different agencies. I have appeared across every agency, by the way. I have appeared in every court, and by the way, I have won in every court.
No, hold on. But you have not appeared. You have refused to come to India
because of security issues.
That's your claim.
No, it is not my security.
Say security issues.
One second. This matter has been very well examined in the UK courts. Okay? Has been very well examined. When I'm talking about, unfortunately, the judgment of the UK court, I'm not able to disclose now. We have applied to the UK courts right now, and we are applying to the UK courts to make sure that we can give that judgment to you. I am gagged right now of talking of the contents of the UK judgment. The UK judgment very clearly has gone into my security issues. The government of UK has fought against it, and government of India, through the government of UK, has fought through it. And by the way, the courts, not at one stage, at multiple stages. I won at the first stage, I won at the second stage, I won at the High Court stage, I won in multiple stages in the UK and have examined this at multiple levels. By the way, the same thing has been examined also in India, and I've got my passport a few weeks later while the Indian High Court, the Honorable High Court of India, the double bench has said the passport should not have been taken away in the first place. That is the key issue. That is the key issue.
The key issue before me is that on the 31st of July, Keith Vaz invokes the name of Sushma Swaraj.
Yes.
You get the passport in 24 hours.
Yes.
You write a mail on August 1st thanking Swaraj Kaushal, the husband of Sushma Swaraj, Sharad Pawar, among others, for the help that they have provided.
Hold on. That list. One second. The list is over 100 people.
It may well be. It includes the husband of
It includes
Sushma
a lot of people.
Let's first talk about
that. It includes a lot of people.
We'll come to the other names.
No, you're not coming to the...
I will.
Yes,
26th August 2013, Swaraj Kaushal asked for your help for his nephew's admission in Sussex University.
He had already been admitted. It was true, but he's already admitted.
But the fact is, the manner in which 3 days later, why did you then write to Keith Vaz seeking his help in his matter
also did not
and say that Sushma Swaraj has called you seeking the help? Is that not evidence of a quid pro quo?
No, it is not.
Is that not evidence of conflict of interest?
There is no conflict.
You helped Sushma Swaraj and her husband in August 2013. She helps you in August 2014.
Rajdeep, my relationship with a lot of people goes way, way back, decades and decades back.
What's your relationship with the Swarajes?
My relationship is Mr. Swaraj has been an advocate of mine.
For how long?
For over 20 years. And Bansuri has been an advocate of mine. for a long time.
So his daughter has been an advocate of yours for how long?
I think it's over 4 years now.
So it was a proximate relationship. Was it a family relationship or was it simply a legal relationship?
It was a family, legal, whatever you may call it. We are very close. Did ask her because
seek her help.
Because I will tell you why. Why don't you listen?
Yes.
Because there was a secret correspondence done by the UK government and Indian government, which said that bilateral relations between the two countries would be soured if Lalit Modi is given any help. But what they forgot to tell everybody is that the secret communication that they had is now in the RTI documentation with you, and it showed very clearly the connivance of the UK with the UK government, with the Indian government, and so much so that the UK courts have recognized that. And by the way, do you know the UK government has been penalized and has been asked and has paid for damages in my matter? And so much so, this is not knowledge to anybody now. They have paid damages to me because of all the issues that the Indian government made the UK government go in. The question is, who is the secret, who is this private office of the government of India?
Who is it?
I will tell you right now. It's Mr. P. Chidambaram. And
Mr. P. Chidambaram was the one person who was seeking to have you deported to India.
Because Mr. Chidambaram could not do so legally. He tried to arm twist. He tried
to deport you to India. He wanted to face the Indian courts.
He could not do it because there was no legal ground to do it. Mr. Chidambaram only tried to do it because he sat there as a minister. He sat there as minister because I took Mr. Shashi Tharoor out, and Mr. Shashi, and it was a political vendetta, and only a political vendetta that tried to get it. There is not a single show cause notice against me that I will answer.
Show cause notices that you've had. I'll come back to the specific charges in a moment. Let's just settle the Swaraj issue.
Yes.
You've said you had a proximate relationship going back in years, both financial.
No financial.
Legal.
I'm sorry.
Legal and family.
No.
Legal and family.
They don't charge me for the services.
Legal and family.
They don't charge me for the services.
Did you at any stage? They don't charge you for their services.
No,
they give you the services free of cost.
Yes.
Swarages gave you legal services free of cost.
Absolutely, because we have a very good relationship. They advise me, and I consider their advice.
So therefore, once she becomes External Affairs Minister, then conflict of interest arises.
No. One second.
Let me tell you.
Why the conflict of interest?
2014.
One second. Conflict of interest arises when the government of India goes out there against the law of the land, against the law of all global agency or laws, and breaks those laws to use their muscle power to influence a government which is against the ethics, to go against their own legal system. That is where the conflict of interest arises and nowhere else. By the way, it took 5 years to get to that stage, and my wife was getting sicker and sicker, and it get to a point where she had serious cancer, and I had to be present, and I had already been granted by the courts. I had already been granted by the courts the right.
Come back to your wife in a moment, because
I want to stay. And by the way, I was granted that same very day when I got it, the right to stay and the right to residence in the UK. But I did not need a travel document of the UK government. I could have very well got a travel document from any other country. I did so because it was my right to show to everybody that I have legally won it. I went there and then got legally my passport from the government of India, and there was no influence by any politician.
Okay.
In fact, all politicians tried to stop it.
Okay, you're saying no influence. Can I ask you, is it true though, as you say, there's a close relationship that in October 2014, when Sushma Swaraj comes to London, you meet her for in a hotel at the regional Pravasi Bharati Divas. Is it true that you gave her hospitality? You were the one who paid for her. Have you at any stage paid for their visits to London?
Not even
any
once.
member of the Swaraj family, their education? Have you paid any of that?
Nothing at all. I think this is.
What was this visit in October 2014 then? It was a purely it
was Mrs. Swaraj as foreign minister visited India, London, and yes, as we said, we have a close. I wasn't there alone. She didn't meet me alone. She met me with, there was the Indian High Commissioner there. There were lots of other people there, prominent Indian friends of hers, and we were all there.
So you don't see any conflict of interest
Absolutely
in the fact that she goes out of her way to oblige you by writing
she obliged me. As rightfully so, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I would have called whoever the Minister for Foreign Affairs was that time, because it was on record under the secret documentation between the government of India and the private office of the government of UK.
You asked for it on humanitarian grounds.
I did.
Right? And the humanitarian grounds are your wife, who suffered from cancer for a long time.
And where did I go next day?
Why did I go next day?
Why did I go next day? Where did I go next day?
You went to Portugal. Why is it Two
Yes.
points. Why
Yes.
is it that suddenly you remembered humanitarian grounds when the government changed? Why did
Excuse
you
me?
raise the issue of humanitarian grounds when the UPA was in power? Is it because
How many times?
Is it because
How many times are you?
because Keith Vaz told you that you need to show an emergency provision?
No,
you used two factors: that a family wedding has to take place.
It was true.
And number two,
It
that
happened
your
to be.
wife's cancer treatment.
It is, by the way, this is not happens to be. This was actually the factual situation. And why didn't you please to the other government? I did many times.
On humanitarian grounds?
On humanitarian grounds. I said my wife was also sick on 2012 and 2013. At that point in time, my wife was taken to Portugal by whom? By Vasundhara Raje. Okay, nobody knows that. I'm putting on record now. Okay, I could not go at that time, so she took it. She was very
Your
sick.
wife was taken to Portugal even in 2012 and 2013 by Vasundhara Raje
Yes.
for her cancer treatment.
Yes, but when it came to 2014, it was a liver cancer. Now, it was very dangerous.
Why Portugal? Why couldn't you have done this in England?
Because, please understand, please do your research. That's why I ask you, when you come and talk to me, do your research. The Shappymore Center for the Unknown is the only institute in the world. It's not a hospital, first and foremost. It's a research institute which has a paradigm shift in cancer research, and was the only institute in the world we thought could save her. And as a fact of the matter, everybody else had given up on her. And
You say I have not done my research. My research shows that under Portuguese rules, the husband's consent is not required for the wife in cases like this. You use that to say that you need to be by her bedside.
One second, I don't have to say that. The doctor said that. Okay, you're again mistaken.
You said husband's consent.
1 minute, 1 second. 1 second. The procedure that is, if you're familiar with cancer, which I don't think you are, if you're familiar with liver cancer, I don't think which you are, there is no cure. Number one. In this matter, this was a matter of grave consequence where all of the doctors have said that this is a risk to life. When this trial was taking place, it was the first time a trial was taking place on a patient like Minal at that point in time. It could be by chance, while they're performing the procedure, that some other organs would have to be taken out right there and then when they're on the operating table. And at this point in time, the doctor's consent, my consent would be required while she's already under...
3 days later, is it true that you were in Ibiza holidaying?
1 minute, 1 minute.
Is it true or not?
1 second, before I finish. This is revolutionary, this cancer treatment. If successful, you can get up from your bed and walk out and go and have dinner. 1 second. It is important to understand this because not many people understand it. So when we did take the risk and go and take it, the quality of our life improved because he took out the cancer. Yes, we are very glad. And yes, we were 3 days later in Ibiza celebrating. Yes, we were there because we were so happy that a life-threatening disease, which had been life-threatening, was able to be taken out. By the way,
it has nothing to do with the fact that Keith Vaz tells you find an emergency reason and you will get your travel documents.
1 second, Rajdeep.
And you look for an emergency reason, not true.
Rajdeep, they were delayed the operation. The operation was to take place before July the 23rd. They kept delaying it. The last date was going to be on a particular date, and that's what they said we must do it. Other things will spread out, and we took the chance of making sure we will try and we'll turn everything upside down to make sure we get approvals. Only then, when we were told by the doctors that this is final stage, is when I approached anybody. I had already won. By the way,
okay, I understand. Point.
No, by the way, 1 second. I was also ready to give up my Indian citizen at that point in time and take another passport. There were many passports available to me. I was looking at every option. It wasn't that I was only looking at one option. For me, my wife's treatment was most critical. And number two,
can I ask you, did you at any stage seek any help from Keith Vaz beyond this? Did you offer any hospitality to Keith Vaz?
None.
Is it true that Keith Vaz was invited to where we are today here in Montenegro?
I know for a fact he's never been to Montenegro.
So you're saying no hospitality ever given by you, no financial benefits that you've ever passed on to Keith Vaz?
I had one dinner with Mr. Keith Vaz and he paid for it. So there is no hospitality given by me. In fact, he paid for my dinner too.
Can I also ask you mentioned Vasundhara Raje, and you said that Vasundhara Raje went with your wife, in fact, for cancer treatment in 2012-13. What is your relationship with Vasundhara now? Now documents which have come out show that she was actually a witness when you wanted your British residency in 2011-12.
My relationship with Vasundhara Raje goes back 30 years. That relationship is known to everybody. So there's no point speculating that. She's a close friend of the family and has been of my wife for a long period of time, since we've been married, and has been very close to us. It is known in media. She's been pictured with me everywhere, and it's been seen with my wife.
So she volunteered openly to be a witness for your residency, or you asked her to do so?
No, she openly agreed to be, but she unfortunately, by the time the thing went to trial, She was already chief minister, so she could not come for the being a witness. So the statement she gave is on record in the courts, and which will be.
Is it true that between 2003 and 8, when she was chief minister, you were very close to her, and in fact were handling a lot of her projects and deals?
I was not handling any projects or deals with her. I was close to her.
You remember there was the entire Haveli controversy at that time, for which you were charged later by the Congress government?
Again, why do we come back to the Congress government? We always come back to the Congress government, right? Why don't we go to the facts? Congress government has an agenda. I don't have an agenda. And the Haveli thing is no Haveli thing. I bought in Haveli legally.
You bought?
What is what?
There are question marks.
Okay, well, irrespective, what is Haveli got to do with it?
I want to know.
My point is this is a political issue.
Did you use your relationships with Sushma Swaraj and Vasundhara Raje for your advantage while you were in London, yes or no?
No, I did not.